Why, hello there, fellow engineers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival. Episode 45, Erecting a Simple Windmill. Back to the blood sausages. So, we need the clean offal. We need the bushmeat. And I can't make all of them because I only have 15 of 20. But, you know, that's close enough. And then blood. Oh, it requires a lot of meat. Touché. Well, we made some, I guess. Yeah, that's not going to be perishable for very long. Well, here's our first 3 sausages. Yeah, we're just showcasing it. Exactly. Like I showcased our meat pie and our bread and all that stuff. And now I'm going to be smoking them. Let's go ahead and grab a little bit more firewood. We're quite low. I suspect I'm going to break my bronze axe in the process. So I suppose it's fine. I'll like plan on breaking it. And then we'll come back and decide on next goal. So, what to do next? If we do agriculture, what I will try to do is to start fruit orchards. If you vote on hunting, it's going to be to source more leather. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and lime wash this stuff. And we have almost no time left on these scraped hides to go to the strong tannin cycle. If you focus on tools, weapons, armor, I think what I would do is start to perhaps make the first batch of iron. If you vote on building, I would work on a windmill. If you vote on forging iron, that would be bloomeries as well. So like 3 and 5 are kind of the same. Animal husbandry would be to scout out locations for other things to trap. Piglets or deer, sheep, you know, goats, whatever. Leatherworking or viewer suggestions. So, there you go. Got the full rundown on decisions there. I'm just running out here to cut down any... Oh, you know what? Didn't I have a flint axe? Yes. So if my bronze one breaks, I'll use the remnants of the flint one. Because I kind of want to break this so that I can repair it, because it's pretty worn out. I know fern trees can be cut down for firewood. I want an actual tree. Maple? Fine. Whatever. Tiny maple tree. Worthless, but whatever. Nope, no rat's choice in these poles. For better or for worse. Come on, axe, just break already. I know if I chop the firewood you'll break, but like... 28 durability? Stubborn axe. Or like maple bushes? Yes. And what's funny is, like, they'll never mature to full size, right? Like, the tree is only as big as it's ever gonna... Oh, I can't cut that down. Only as big as it's ever gonna be, so... What I'm doing here is a bit of a mercy. I don't have enough axe durability for that. Alright, whatever. Let's just cut this up into firewood. How is that not broken yet? Oh my god, you freaking stop surviving. I'm trying to ruin you. So I can repair you. Put me back together like Humpty Dumpty. Just be a Dumpty already. Good lord. The little axe that could. What are you? Oak. That's a big oak. Because, like, I don't want to start cutting down an oak tree and, like, get halfway through and then have my axe break. Right? There's no point in that. So I'm just trying to use up this axe so I can break it and repair. Oh, I'll do a walnut. That's not too big. Although, you know what? There's yeah. Let's not cut down a bee walnut. You're a small oak. Adding paths for cleanup. So what I could do is have subpoles. Ooh, hey boar. For what sort of building project to take on? Yay! Finally. It broke. So you do guys want some sort of building project. So what building project to do? Windmill, better home, pathing, and bridges. Let's see. Improved kitchen or other viewer suggestions, because I could always open up a suggestion box for you guys to drop me a line on what you want me to do instead. So there you go. Ooh, I didn't know that was there. I'm suspecting this leads to a bigger, like, there doesn't seem to be any other high fertility soil here, so that's probably part of a larger grouping of high fertility soil. But absolutely insane that I spotted just the one of the group, because it was pretty well camouflaged. I just happened to be staring at it at the time. Luck. Absolute luck. Alright, whatever you end up voting on, let's go ahead and repair the bronze axe head first. So, how many pieces is this missing? I don't even know. I had to heat it up first. Because it, like, is pretty cheap to heat up a whole bunch of bronze bits, I think I will just do that. Because it's not really a lot of cost. So while that heats up, we'll take some of this firewood. And the rest of the firewood will go to the kitchen. Grab, let's say, 7 bronze bits should be plenty. It's probably, honestly, massively overkill. Probably requires like 2 or 3. Heat that up. On that same vein, my knife is about to die too. I'd love for it to, so I could repair that as well. And it's hanging on by a thread. Did it get the well working? Yes. All that was wrong with it was I needed to update the mod for it. Are you not smoking? Oh, these are already smoked. Okay. There we go. We got smoked blood sausages. Nice. I'm gonna eat one right now. That is a pretty decent amount of meat satiety. That is like a little over twice the prime meat. Or, you know, 3 times the smoked red meat. A lot of work went into it, so it's not to say that it was like cheap. But good yield. So let's go repair the axe, feed the chickens, and then work on probably a windmill. I'll leave that up a little bit longer, but I suspect that's going to win. So, this thing is missing... Oh, it's actually missing quite a bit. Missing 8. So that's 4 nuggets. 1, 2, 3, 4. How long do they last? I mean, they're smoked sausages. They're not cooked, so they should last a pretty long time, I suspect. Sometimes right when it comes off the fire, because it's still hot, it won't tell you its preservation time, so you gotta wait until it's cooled down a bit. So I'll check in just a sec, now that it's been a second to lose its heat. Okay. Axe fixed. Is bits a mod? Yes, smithing plus. Being able to repair tools, also a mod, smithing plus. Everything related to blacksmithing that is not recognizably vanilla. Just shy of 100 days. Not bad. Is smithing plus mod. So smithing plus will give you the bronze nuggets, or any nuggets of whatever you were, what material you were using when you split, to be able to then repurpose and reuse, which is honestly great. Because like in real life, you don't. It like doesn't. It honestly doesn't even make sense. Like when a tool breaks in a. Back in the day, you know, the era of blacksmithing, I'll just say, like, as a blanket back in the day, you fix it. You don't, like, throw out the metal. Like, that's not how people did anything back then. Because, like, you would even, I mentioned this before, but you would even burn down an entire house to recover the nails. Because nails were hand-forged by a blacksmith. They were expensive, so you wouldn't waste it. So I really like the mod for that it gives it a realistic feeling of like, oh yeah, you know, I don't waste metal here. Oops, that's not right. So I'm all for that, for sure. Okay, did a little bit of farming. Heading over to the chicken coop to make sure to top up their supply and to check up on the eggs because it's been a minute. And then we'll start windmilling, I guess. Oh yeah, they needed to be fed. I got you. Alright, well, they're putting eggs freaking everywhere. Yo, could you guys, like, aim better? I know you're all panicky, but for real, you're like... 3, 3. Okay. We're good on that front. Harvestable, populated, harvestable, pop, pop. So I would say I'm just going to still wait on the beehives until more are harvestable. Really, like, because I'm not in any urgent need of honey. Even if I could take some of that horsetail I got to make honeyed poultices, wouldn't be a bad use for it, for sure. And we have a lot of eggs for scrambled eggs that I should use up sooner or later. So we're going to embark on the windmill. Now the question is, where exactly do we want it? There's really two areas that I would suspect make the most sense. One windmill I could put on our house. Actually, three. So I could put it on top of our house and then add the quern in the house so we grind our own grain in here. And I would even maybe move the bread oven over so that we do the baking in the home to, you know, get all that lovely baking smell. And then it shouldn't be too hard to move the axle over here for a helve hammer, because it's pretty close. For reference, what we're going to be needing for this, for mechanical power, is an Archimedes screw, or not an Archimedes screw, sorry, a windmill rotor, which is fat, resin, wood, chisel, hammer for the rotor. Sails, which is linen and sticks. And we're probably going to need more than just a set of sails, because at our elevation, we have pretty low wind. At higher elevations, it would be a lot higher. We're going to want axles, which is fat and wood, which is why I wasn't using the fat to make to make the blood sausages, because it was going to be really, really, really needed for the windmill. We already have the quern, but then we're going to want like the whole helve hammer set up eventually. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So where you generate the power, and what I'm planning on doing is having like a direct rotor. So it's going to be like a rotor to axles, and I'm not going to incorporate large gears. So the purpose of large gears is if you... I don't really want to explain like torque gear ratios, but if your windmill is not spinning very fast, you can use gears to still produce power from it. I think I have enough flax to add enough sails that I won't need gear sections. If I do end up needing gear sections, I'll set that up. But I don't think I will. Now, the other thing we might want to incorporate is a transmission and brake. A clutch and a brake system. It really depends on how much resin I end up with at the end of this, but that allows you to engage the hammer or not with a clutch, because otherwise you just have to constantly listen to the helve hammer banging away on the anvil, which, you know, gets tedious quickly, very quickly. So the locations for it is either on the house. I could also do some, like, maybe out back of the forge, like put a windmill here, or do a little landfill here and put the windmill sort of between the kitchen and the forge, because that way I could perhaps have like a 2 clutches and transmissions for an automated quern and an automated helve hammer. It's not too hard to just like move your flour or your grain to where your quern is. So if I end up like with a windmill here, I'll just put the quern in the in the forge to move my grain all of like 10 feet to grind it here. So those are the 3 locations that I see. Where to build a windmill? On the house, behind the forge, or between kitchen and forge. Those make the most sense. Let's also get a full accounting of how much linen we're working with. So I already have 12 sheets, and I have a lot more than that. ready to be... $20. Okay, yeah, we're really not going to have any sale issues, I think. So, let's get the windmill rotor. So I need a hammer, chisel, wood, fat, resin. And then we don't even have like a raw wood to use because of like, we have a little bit of oak, but I'm going to need to cut down something new too. Just fine. At least it's daytime. I'll be able to actually see what the hell I'm doing. You know, I actually kind of like these, like, pillared trees. I want to leave them alone because they look neat. Walnut. That'll work. Nope. Don't use your hands. Maniac. We need oak for Tana too. I live near so many oak trees that, like, there's no way I'll run out. Almost all the trees around me are oaks. So I don't really care about the, like, preserving the oaks for tannin. It should be fine. Oh, speaking of which, we need to move our hides anyway. Because, the hides in the weak tannin are ready to go to strong. So we will need more oaks to make a run of tannin. Wow, that was a big oak tree. Okay. We have so much oak. Could make charcoal out of some of this too. Because my inventory is full and there's still oaks left on the ground. Or walnut. Gonna mark it down so I can find my way back. Because I don't want to leave it on the ground to despawn. And it seems like between the kitchen and the forge seems to be the popular option. Got it. So I'll do a little bit of landfill, but I think I'm going to do, because for role-playing reasons, again, role-playing. Can't say that enough. It would make the most sense in a role-playing setting to have it be stonework and load-bearing. You could certainly have a wooden one, but I don't intend to. Would planting a wood farm be a viable subpole? No. In a permanent survival situation, when you live in a rainforest, planting trees would be nowhere on the list of priorities. So, like, I do it when it's convenient, when I have seeds in hand and I just can throw them in the ground. But, I'm in a rainforest. I don't need to be planting trees. Not to crap on your suggestion there. It's just, as far as resource availability, that's like the one thing I really don't need to worry about. Because I've got oak forests, redwood forests, kapok, more oak, I think. More oak. Like, yeah. I have more wood than I will ever need. I even have a whole bunch of kapok seeds, like, in my storage box over there that I haven't even touched. So before I start working on the mechanisms for the forge, let's work out the foundations. Oops. And I had a lot more wood than I needed, so I'm just stockpiling the supplies. That almost looks like a cord of, or half cord of wood. It's a lot of firewood. Better use would be to make a papyrus farm. I do not disagree. I'm going to put the fat and the resin away for now, as well as the almost fully broken axe. So if you guys want me to put it between the two, I think it makes the most sense to place it like if I have a quarn. So imagine if I have a quarn, well, to back it up a little bit, the axles can go at right angles only. And eventually we're going to want the axles hooked up to the health hammer and the quarn. I don't know if I'm going to need the pulverizer, because most of the stuff that you need to be pulverizing for is for refractory and steel making stuff. So I don't foresee a pulverizer as like a high need. So if our axles go in right angles, we're going to want to generate the mechanical power like here. And then have a building here with the windmill on it. And then to send the axle power over to the kitchen for the quarn. And then over to the forge for the health hammer. So I'm probably going to be putting stonework there in that spot. But I don't want to put down like rammed earth. For role-playing reasons, I want like full-on cobblestone. Because it would have to be, you know, you're not going to build a tower out of, like, dirt. Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. The other thing is, I may decide to chisel this at some point to make it look better. But here we have sort of the position between the two. In fact, no, this will work. Because the mechanical power will come off the front. So I think I want to do some sort of like cross pattern. Rather than to like replicate like a Dutch windmill or anything like that. I want like what would look like a sturdy structure to stick this on. So let's grab a whole bunch of our andesite. And then I don't actually know if I have the red clay for this. I'll check. I have a little. We're also going to want a ladder, too. I believe I have some of those. Probably need more than what I've got. Boards. I don't intend to make it like super high up in the sky or anything like that. I'm not going for meta. I'm going for realism. And I think what I'll do is I'll put the ladder on the back. because the mechanical power axles will be on the front. Or maybe down the middle. You know, we might excavate the center and have the axles go through the center. That wouldn't... Yeah, maybe we'll do it that way. So I'll eventually put the stonework back on this, what is this, west side? Once we're done constructing. So I'll have it be hollow. Now the only issue is, if the axle comes out, it can really only connect with one thing at a time at right angles without a gear. So I think initially I'm going to have it come serve the... I'll have it come out at this elevation. And it will serve a helve hammer. And I can swap in the quern on demand. And eventually maybe we'll upgrade for gearing, but not at 1.0. I will not entertain that idea at all. Keep the first iteration simple. And this is probably high enough. The reason for the height, I'll do one more, is the sails are pretty big, and you want to have enough. Actually, I'm going to change this a little bit. You want to have enough room between the sails and the floor surface, the ground, so that you can add a full set of sails. Because if you don't have enough room, your sails won't fit. Okay. Why'd I do that? That's the exact opposite of what I was trying to do. Sorry. Do that. I was planning on putting the rotor on this face, so it faces outwards that way. So now we have that in place. Let's go make the rotor. No, I guess it's not deep enough. Shouldn't do that again. Could be worse. Didn't break my neck. So we're getting the rotor with the 2 logs resin fat, hammer, and the chisel. You only really need one of these per windmill, so this is not something you have to make a lot of. And then the rotor should connect to at least an axle, which is just one of these. And we'll get this hooked up. There we go. Come on, let me... Okay, let's do... like this. Okay, right now we have a pretty good wind speed, actually. Higher than I thought it would be, but that's most likely because it's, like, rainstorming. Still, that wasn't deep enough? Okay. I have not yet learned my lesson. All right, there we go. So now we have where the sails are going to go on. And we just need to affix sails. Pretty straightforward. So let's get the sails made. And sails are made in sets of 4. So we'll grab our linen stitches. And it should say in the guide here for mechanical power, you need at least 4 sails. And then, you know, with the axles, we'll deal with it in a minute. A windmill requires at least 5 blocks of vertical space, and usually gets more wind the higher it is. So place it high, and I can always adjust the height of this windmill. So if we don't have enough vertical space initially, I'll you know, make it higher. But hopefully that won't be an issue. This is what a sail looks like. And we're going to want multiples, because the more sails we have, the more power the thing will have. So we'll start off... shoot, I don't want to drop that on the ground. We'll start off with 12. But before I forget, let's move this here so we get more leather. And I'll need to cut down some oak trees to make the weak tannin. Oops. So in the internal structure, in the like hollow insides, we're going to put axles to run the power down, where it will connect here. And then the sails themselves go out on here. And we go. We have mechanical power. Not that we're doing anything with it yet, but, you know, eventually. Shoot. Wait, what key did I hit for, like, tool swapping? That was weird. Sweet. Now, the axles that you can make, you eventually want to hook up to the Helvhammer, which we'll have to do after all of this is done. The other thing we could do is to grind some grain while we have the mechanical power. So another thing we're going to want to set up here is the axles that run all the way down to the bottom, so that we can power up the, you know, the stuff that we're building, and then give this like what would appear to be like an attractive top. Essentially, I want to make it like functional first, and then I'll have it make at least on first pass, I'll have it make it look a little bit more realistic thereafter. So we need to make a few more axles with the wood that we've got. More than a few, to be honest. Let's do 16 for now, and then I might need to increase that. And we can also add more sails, too. It really depends on how much mechanical power that we end up getting. I just didn't want to use up all of my linen before I knew that I would need it. And we'll have to do an angle gear, but at the top of this long wooden axle. We'll get that next. And then another angle gear at the bottom. So you can see how that is all forming up. I'll probably end up moving these weir traps, but then we'll have, because I'm going to want these axles supported so they don't just look like weird floating nonsense. Then we have mechanical power coming into the forge in this spot. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel. I made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.